Welcome to the Teaching Bites podcast. Here are your hosts, Fred and Sharon Jaravada.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our show where we help teachers spark connections and ideas so you can take your teaching to the next level. We're your host. She's Sharon.
And he's Fred.
So on this episode, we're going to be talking about the Big Ideas Fest that I attended back in the first week of December of 2015. I have a lot of great ideas, a lot of experiences there, and I'll share that in a moment as Sharon will be sharing.
Ha 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 ha.
Some cool stuff about this episode. Go ahead.
All right, so for number 28, fun fact, if you play dominoes, I don't play it very often.
Domino, yeah.
Yeah, there are 28 dominoes in a standard domino set.
Interesting.
Did you know that?
I think I did that. I haven't played dominoes in a long time, maybe 10 years already, but I used to play that.
Yeah, good to know. I have a lot of sets at my classroom, and that would be great to organize.
People just use it. You know what they use dominoes for, right? They don't play dominoes. They use the dominoes to knock down the next domino.
That's what my kids use it for. Exactly.
That's what it is. Like for Rube Goldberg machines. It's great. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So Big Ideas Fest. So Fred, tell the audience what it's about. Who is this conference for, and just an overview.
Okay, yeah. So the Big Ideas Fest is a festival. Well, Big Ideas Fest is a conference that happens once a year in December. My school was very lucky enough to send a group of 10 people this year, and they had actually 10 people last year and 10 people again the year before that, to send teachers, administrators to attend this. And it's ran by an organization called the Institute for the Study of Knowledge Management in Education. It's an independent education nonprofit. It was founded back in 2002, and their goal is to improve the practice of learning, collaborating, and change in the education sector. They help schools, school districts, states, and other organizations so they can help teachers discover openness with their iteration of design thinking. They have something called the Action Collab, and I was able to go through that. It was 3 full days of design thinking, or what they call it, the Action Collab, and it was an amazing experience that I really went through. One thing was really cool, I'm going to say up front now, is that I've been to, a few conferences that had design thinking, but this is the one that is really cool, this Action Collab, is that they had students, and this was the first time I worked with students in these 3 days of getting to know them and trying to solve their needs and their wants in education. So that was very powerful for me.
Yeah. A question about the students. Were they, active participants, or were they speakers, or were they thinking along with you, teachers? Like, how did they play a role in the fest?
So the students, they were from the local, from the Bay Area, and they come from a local school. I believe it's if I can remember now, a charter school, and they come from a school that has challenges, but they are under the leadership of great educators, and they were active participants, which is amazing. I worked with, I believe, a sophomore and a junior, and they're amazing. I couldn't believe. My mind was blown. I was working with these kids, and they were breaking down ideas with us. And one topic was about how they wanted to know. They wanted the teachers to know them more. And that was a very big thing. And and I'll talk about that in a bit. But I'm going to go over some of the speakers. They had a lot of speakers. They had an MC that hosted for 3 days. And her name is Liz Dwyer. And she comes from the Teach for America Corps, and the member in Compton, California. She was amazing. I loved how she ran the show. Very impressive. And we had 2 keynotes. The first keynote was the co-founder of Duolingo, that app or that web resource, very popular resource, where students use to learn a different language, Duolingo. He's the founder, CEO, and he also created something called the CAPTCHA. So when you log in, where something will ask you to...
Oh, are you a robot?
Well, yeah, they do that so that... Well, there's 2 things. They do that so that making sure you're human. So you can read these letters that are not digitally made. They've been scanned.
Yeah, it's like a photograph of something in reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So here's the cool thing about this CAPTCHA, because at first I didn't like the CAPTCHA. It was a waste of time. But when he broke it down and he told us what's it about, one, it usually is 2 words, okay? The first word is a word to make sure you're human, you can read it. The second word, you will see it's slightly different. It's like handwriting or something like that. So that handwriting word that you have to try to interpret comes from texts and from primary sources. I'm talking about texts like hundreds of years ago, from books that were scanned by Google, I believe, and their handwritings have in those texts that people can't recognize or don't recognize immediately. So what they do, they put the second word there for you to interpret. So say if I wrote it one way and another person, the next people type it the same way, the same spelling, they will take the average of that, or they'll take the highest probability that most people type that word this way. They spell it this way just by looking at the letters being shown. So they will use that and translate that. They will take that, the probability of that being the word for that text. Because sometimes text in books become unrecognizable over the years, right? They deteriorate, the paper deteriorates, the ink deteriorates. So sometimes you can't read it. But it's crowdsourcing, I guess, in the power of people recognizing that word.
So,
does that make sense?
Yeah. So when you meant handwriting, you meant cursive?
It can be anything. It can be cursive, whatever they're trying to translate in that word from that text. So that they're going to get the crowdsourced collective, what people think the most. That's it. They're going to use that for that book, for that word.
Yeah. Actually,
did you just burp?
Yeah.
Okay, you just burped. Weird.
It's a weird one. Okay. No, I was just thinking about our, excuse me, I'm sorry, our cursive episode.
Yeah.
So I thought, another reason why you should learn it.
Maybe that's a good reason, yes. So I'm running down.
Moving on
real quick. So Duolingo, really cool. Founder Douglas Gayton, the Lexicon of Sustainability. Amazing speaker. He closed us out. Very, very inspired. So we're going to have all of these links on the show notes. We had Tony Brown, the Heart of Los Angeles. We had Roswell Encina. And then Encina Pratt Free Library. We also had P.J. Hirabashi, the Tyke of Tycho Peace. We had Kylie, I'm going to mispronounce this, Majikowski. She's the CEO of something called Tomorrow's Lemonade Stand. And you know what? She's 11 years old.
Oh, that's amazing.
She's 11 years old, but she commanded that stage, and she shared her story like a veteran entrepreneur. Amazing. So we'll put that link there. And we had Ali Partavi. He's the co-founder of Code.org. He was there the week before Hour of Code.
Yeah, just in time.
And we also had Rebecca Rufo Tepper. She's the director of professional development of Institute of Play. We also had Dale Rusikoff. She's an author of The Prize. And we had Jackie Sanderlin, and I loved her. She's the leader of educational partnerships in Compton Unified School District. Amazing. She was actually featured in Ellen one time, and I'll try to find that link. Put that in the show notes. We also had Michael Sorrell. He's the president of Paul Quinn College. He shared his experience of his innovative of a small college being innovative. We also had Jason Young. He's the founder of Mind Blown. He created a really cool app teaching kids how to be responsible with their finances. Amazing.
Oh,
Again,
very important.
very important to
Should
teach kids.
definitely be taught in
Right.
school.
Last but not least was this speaker that I actually had a crush on back in the 90s.
You did? I didn't know that.
Well, okay, she is the U.S. Olympic skater, figure skater, Christy Yamaguchi. And she was there sharing her story about her being the founder of Always Dream Foundation. So that was amazing. I was like, wow, that's Christy Yamaguchi.
It's a lot of people.
There's a lot of people. I mean, these are very impressive people, and they share a lot of inspiring stories.
But you know what's really cool about it is they have kids involved. I think that, makes our job that much more meaningful when you have kids there to represent their voices and to hear what they're doing. I'd like to be a part of that.
Right. I think you should go to that, and maybe next year we're going to push you to go there. Okay. So we also had an Action Collab Storytell panel, and these guys started us off. Ashanti Branch, he's actually going to speak in our school in the near future. He's the founder of the Ever Forward Club. Very amazing person. We also had Shanley Rhodes. We had Tyson Amir Mustafa, and he's an educator and activist. And we also had the BIF All-Stars, the Big Ideas Fest, BIF All-Stars. We had Maya Anista Smith. She's the director of Impact Operations at Lady Gaga's Born This Way organization. We also had Shiza Shahid, and she co-founded the Malala Fund with the Nobel Prize winner Malala. Yeah, she shared her story, their story about creating this for girls. We also had Erin McKean. She's the founder of Wordnik, and she's very cool. She's a wordsmith, and she talks about words and it's how it has different meanings over time. Very cool.
Wow.
So we had a lot of speakers. It was 3 amazing days. I went with colleagues who I don't really have normal contact with it. We have a big school, and a lot of our high school teachers are, so it was nice to get to know them also. Amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So, having never gone to this festival myself, I naturally asked you, what is this about? And why would you want to go and stuff like that? And I think a while back, I asked you, is this a conference like, you go to math conference, you learn all these math strategies or language arts or reading strategies. And you said it's not like that. So how different is this than going to learn about a curriculum?
Right. So learning about a curriculum allowed me just sitting down a lot that I remember. Right.
Yeah, and they give you the teacher guide. You take note, little Post-its.
And then you'll probably break off into small groups, more sitting down. Right.
Yeah, and planning your lesson.
Right, you're planning lessons. So this one's different. So for design thinking workshops and this particular Action Collab, you're standing up a lot. Okay, you're running through scenarios. You're running through how to communicate. The whole point of design thinking and the Action Collab is how to communicate. They have something called yes and. So when a person is sharing their ideas, there's no criticism. You're not supposed to criticize them. You want to add to their ideas. So you do something called, when you say an idea, I would not knock it down, but I would say yes and So I'm affirming your ideas and I'm adding to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because sometimes teachers like to talk, and we don't normally listen to each other. And I think a lot of people in general just need some kind of affirmation about what they're saying.
Right. So that you affirm, that means you're listening to them.
Yeah.
You're listening to their ideas. So you're increasing the communication, the quality of communication, right?
That's a good point to teach my class, actually.
Yeah, you should do. There's a lot of design thinking organizations out there that they work with teachers to teach with students. Stanford's Design School, obviously the Big Ideas, and the Action Collab organization. There's a lot out there also, you know.
Yeah, so I know you've been, like you mentioned earlier, you've participated in a couple of design thinking workshops. People from the D School came to your school to teach you. Mm-hmm. So if you were to pick one to go to learn about design thinking, like for me, I haven't been training it at all.
Right.
Which is the best one for me to go to?
Well, I think they're all great. All the people who ran it, all the conferences, all the workshops I've been to, they're all amazing. They're all trained really well. The ideas and concepts of yes and the HMW, the how might we, whatever problem you're trying to solve. Mm-hmm. So the communication, the listening, and also the team effort, how might we. Those are big concepts. Now, which one do I suggest that you go? Mm-hmm. I suggest you would go to the Action Collab's Big Ideas Fest. Because if it's just like the one I did this year, it would be because it's a bigger festival, a bigger conference. I've been to bigger design thinking conference, but they're a little smaller, much smaller than this. I maybe worked with 20, 30 people at the most. This one, we had a total of maybe 200, maybe even 300 people. And a good chunk, maybe about 50 of them were students. Around there. There are students, entrepreneurs, there are politicians were there, bloggers were out there, anybody, teachers,
tech companies, right?
Tech companies. So anyone who had a big stake in education, they were there. Not just teachers. So we had different perspectives. So that's really cool. So I would suggest Big Ideas Fest.
And it's over 3 days, so you really get immersed into it, it seems like.
Exactly. It's not one and done or 2 days and done. I was lucky it happened down in San Jose, California, and I stayed in the hotel that they were running the conference. So it was nice. It was really nice. I mean, I was literally I slept on my floor. My room was in the same floor as the conference. It was great.
Very convenient.
Very, very convenient. So it really helps.
And
that means that I had to leave you and the kids at home for 3 days.
Oh my gosh! Thank you.
but that's okay.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
But also, what was cool was we got fed really well, and I remember lots of cake.
I saw that spread. It was like cake and pie,
lots of
but
pie.
not just two, but 4 kinds of each.
Big Ideas Fest, guys. You guys hooked it up. Thank you very much. We all watch it and eat all that stuff, but it was great food. Great food. Actually, really good food.
I went to visit you. I took the kids, remember, and I saw all that food. I'm like, wow, that you know how to treat the teachers. Usually we're like, oh, bring your own lunch, so that's really nice.
It was cool. Yeah, Sharon and she brought down the kids for the last day. They came down to San Jose. Mm-hmm. As we live in the San Francisco area, and they came down and enjoyed being there in San Jose. So it was cool, and it happened at Dolce
Hayes Mansion.
Hayes Mansion in San Jose. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's a landmark of San Jose.
Very
really
cool.
Nice.
All right, so that's Big Ideas Fest, and I suggest if you are there or you can make it, go there. I met a contingent from Dallas, amazing people. A lot of people from around the country that came down to San Jose.
Do you think, do you think this is about 200 people total?
About so.
Was that, you think, too many?
Maybe more.
To have quality interactions,
No,
conversations?
because you're breaking up into small groups.
Oh, small. Okay.
You break up into small groups. You can't run
No,
it too big.
yeah.
No. So you break down the small groups into maybe about a dozen,
Oh, that's good.
12, maybe 13, 14 at the most, and they're hopping all over the mansion. So, and then, you probably the next day you would be in a different group.
But you never were with your colleagues.
No, I mean
imagine?
we had colleagues from my school.
Yeah.
Oh
like
yeah,
yours.
we had a lot of people, so I was surrounded by school Sacred Heart teachers.
Oh, okay. Okay. And I thought they would deliberately separate you guys from each other.
Yeah,
Or,
I don't
depends
know.
on
It
what
worked
the
well.
task is.
It worked well. Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Sounds really exciting. I definitely want to go.
Yep. If you're not part of, we have 2 Facebook things you can join. One, we have the public page, Teaching Bites page. It's free and it's open. But we also have a secret exclusive community of teachers and educators on Facebook called the Teaching Bites Community Group. Okay, it's a group. And we have over like
420
teachers
members
and educators members on there. And if you are interested in joining that the private Facebook group, go to Teaching Bites Community Group, search us there on Facebook, and ask a request to join, and then we'll approve you. Okay, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
All right, guys. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Teaching Bites podcast at www.teachingbites.com.